Welcome back to Sisters from Verbena. I'm Doris.
And I'm Shelly.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Sisters from Verbena. And I'm excited today because I get to do another cooking video. These I think are, I don't know if they're my favorite, but I like them just as much as like when I'm traveling. And of course we're going to do something else that I've never made before. And what you're going to find is interesting about this is what I'm making. So I'm Creole, and I have never made jambalaya, surprisingly enough. I didn't grow up eating jambalaya, which is really weird being that I'm Creole, but I don't know if like my grandmother didn't like it or what. So I'm gonna have to like ask one of my aunts one time if they know. So anyway, I know like jambalaya can either be like fluffy or it can have like a creamier consistency, and that's the one that I like. And since I've never made it before, I went online and I found a recipe that I think is going to be good. So I've only had, where I can say, 2 times where I thought jambalaya was really good. The first one was my cousin's ex-boyfriend. He made it, and he made a really, really good version. And the second one, believe it or not, it was at my kid's school district. Fun fact about me, I used to be a lunch lady. Like I was a stay-at-home mom, and once my youngest daughter went to school full-time, I went and I worked at the school because, you know, I still had to be near them. So I worked at the school, and one thing that we made was jambalaya. We made it from scratch. And so one thing I remember is that we made a roux. So I looked for a recipe online that had a roux, and I found one. So that's what we're going to do right now. I have all my ingredients. I'll show you in a minute. But first, we have to make us a little drink. Today, what I'm making is just a sparkling water. So I have a tangerine sparkling water that I'm going to add to my glass. And I do this all the time. I make this all the time. And I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla syrup, so it kind of tastes like an orange creamsicle. So I'm going to add a little bit of that. Just a little bit, just for a little bit of sweetness. And then one thing that I do with my sparkling waters, no matter what flavor, I got these at Trader Joe's. Can you see that? Hopefully it's sweetened dried orange slices, and I love to add these to my sparkling water. Because even when I don't add the syrup, or especially when I don't add the syrup, they make the water like a little bit, it gives it a little sweetness. And then like once it soaks in the water enough, they soften up, and then you can eat them. And they're so, so good. And they're like super cheap. Like for this bag, it's like $3 something. So I love these. So let me top it off with a little more of my water. Okay, so we have our drink. Okay. So the recipe called for chicken, shrimp, and sausage. I don't care for shrimp, so I'm only doing chicken and sausage. Okay, so let me kind of go over my ingredients. Right here, I have my onion, white onion, celery, green onion, and bell pepper. I have my sausage, my chicken that I've already seasoned, garlic, flour, and all my seasonings back there, chicken stock, and crushed tomatoes, and my long grain white rice that I washed already. Okay, so now let's get over to the stove and we're gonna start. Okay, so the first thing the recipe calls for is that we brown our sausage. It doesn't say do the chicken, which is odd to me because I'll always brown my chicken. So that's what we're gonna do first, is we're gonna brown the chicken, and then we'll throw in the sausage and then put those aside to move on to the next step. Put a little bit of olive oil. They call it for vegetable oil, but I'm using olive oil. Also for the roux, I'm going to use olive oil, which typically when I make a roux, I use vegetable oil, but I'm going to stick to olive oil this time. And hopefully it won't make a difference.
Girl, I see that you want it. Driving me crazy with that fire in your eyes.
And what I'll do is I'll link this recipe in the description box for you guys.
And all of the back and forth, the same.
that brown. Okay guys, so I'm browning my chicken right now. It's almost done, and then I'm gonna take this out and then throw in my sausage. I'm using chicken thighs for this. Hush up, my dog is barking. I'm using chicken thighs for this because I just think it'll hold up better. You know, I'm very new to chicken thighs. I've always hated chicken thighs. Like growing up, it would only be like breast or a wing. And so I'm new to this. I remember one time before I started embracing thighs, I was at, I think, Kentucky Fried Chicken or Popeyes. And the person in front of me was like, yeah, you know, I want, you know, a whatever 8-piece or whatever, but can I pay extra for thighs? And I was thinking to myself, you can have mine for free. Like, it took me a long time to embrace eating chicken thighs. But now in certain dishes, it just is better because it doesn't like kind of flake up how chicken tenders do or chicken breasts, and it doesn't dry out. And so I just trim back like all the possible fat that I can get off of it, because I don't like all that fat. That's why I didn't like thighs, because they were just too fatty to me. So once I trim all that off, I actually really like thighs now. So, okay, now we're gonna get all these out. And I just lightly browned them. I just gotta have some color on my chicken. Can't be having white chicken. Okay, now we're gonna put in our sausage. Yeah, it's kind of smoking. Turn that down. Add a little more oil. I don't need to cook very much. I just want to get a little bit of color on them and then start on our roux. But for this roux, it's just a very quick one. When I make roux, it's normally for a gumbo, and you have to like sit it and babysit and watch, and it like is a long process. But for this, they just set like a light brown color, so it's not going to take long to do that. Okay, so we got the sausage out. Now I'm going to add a little bit more oil to this, and then I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of flour is what the recipe called for. So we're going to do that. We're going to stir this and let it get light brown. So let me know in the comments, like how you make your jambalaya, like what I'm doing wrong, something I can do differently or, you know, better to make it better. But yeah, just tell me, or if this is like the way you make it also. I'm curious to know, because like I said, I've never made jambalaya before. And I really want to go. I've been to Louisiana, but like when I was younger, and so I've never actually been to like the French Quarters and over there. I really want to go over there to get some of the food. But I hear some people say like Lafayette has the best food, or I don't know, maybe just one person I know said that. But I think I like it wherever. Okay, so now we're going to add, I think that roux is good. So now we're going to add our vegetables, which was the bell pepper, celery, onion, and green onion. And it also said to add, I'm going to add some more oil. It also said to add the garlic at the same time, but I don't know. I like to add my garlic a little bit later because garlic tends to burn. Let me turn this down a little bit more. Okay, so we're going to, it's a lot of smoke. Hopefully that doesn't mess with the audio. Let me turn that down. Okay, now we add the garlic. This seems like it's a pretty, you know, if I'm doing it right, it seems like it's a pretty simple dish, but I'm sure like the authentic jambalaya like recipe is a lengthy process. I don't know why. It just seems like dishes like this should take time. I don't know. And so far this is going pretty quickly. So I don't know if this is like a condensed recipe or if it's like the real deal, but we're going to see. As long as it tastes good, that's all I really care about. All right, let that sit for 1 second and I'll be right back. Okay, so I had to go and kind of read the directions to make sure seeing what step I was on. So pretty much now, all you do is you add everything into the pan and let it cook. Let it do its thing. Let it like all the flavors marry together. So I just added the chicken and the sausage back in. And now I'm going to add, I guess it don't matter what order, my couple white rice. And we'll have the chicken stock too, so that doesn't, no, it said 6 cups, but I'm gonna add this whole box. I don't know if it's 6 cups or more than 6 cups or less, but this I can eyeball and I'll add more later on if I have to. It asked for crushed tomatoes and it said like so many ounces. I don't remember what it said, but I'm gonna just eyeball that anyway and add about that much. Next, and all this stuff now I'm kind of doing, you know, eyeballing stuff. So it's asked for oregano, so we're gonna add some of that. We're gonna add some thyme, and then we're gonna add garlic powder, onion powder, and some Creole seasoning. Ooh, I just noticed what I was doing. Hopefully that's not too salty. Okay, and then one thing I am adding to this that's not in this recipe. Remember I was telling you there's 2 versions or 2 jambalayas that I've had that I really liked. And my cousin's ex-boyfriend, one thing he would add to his jambalaya is a can of cream of chicken soup. So I'm actually going to add that to this. So I'm doing a combination of both of the ones I like. I'm doing like both. Okay, so we're going to add this in. And then really after this, we just let it simmer until like the rice is done. So let me mix all this in. Let me show you how it looks. So this is what it's looking like right now. Looks pretty good. Now, I know jambalaya is nowhere near this liquidy, so the rice and everything will absorb it and it should cook down. Okay, so that's on the stove, and the only thing I have really left to do is just chop up the green onion for the very top, like after when I'm plating it. So I'm gonna do that. Okay, so now we just have to wait for that to cook. We'll kind of keep our eye on it and keep checking on it and see how it's coming along, and then we'll see the final product. Okay guys, so it is done. I want to say it cooked for like maybe about 35-40 minutes. And let me show you, let me put on my little toppings. And I think it came out really good. Let me show you. So this is it. I think it came out really good. Well, now comes the important part. We're going to see how it tastes. So let me get a spoon. All right, so let's see how it tastes. So I will start off by saying, see, this is the consistency I like. I like it more like saucy. This might be, is this too saucy? It may be a touch too saucy or perfect, one of the two. But I like it like this because you know how sometimes you see some and it's like the rice is flaky and it's just like red rice with like the meat in it. I like a more saucy jambalaya. All right, so let me get a piece with chicken and sausage on it. And let's see. It's hot still. Okay. Okay. Couple things. Okay, it is good. The only thing is it's a little salty. Now, I will say, when I was over there, I was talking and I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. I was just talking and putting the Creole seasoning on. So I put a touch too much. So it's a little bit salty. And then another thing is I had to cook it enough because I wanted to get the liquid down. I think I put a little bit too much liquid because the rice is a tad bit mushy, just a tad bit. So if I had put less water, I wouldn't have had to cook it so long to get some of the liquid out. So those are the two things that I would change. But other than that, the flavor is really good, even though it's a touch salty. The flavor's good. I like the spice level in it. It asks for cayenne pepper, but I went to the store because I don't have cayenne pepper on hand. I went to the store and I don't even know if they make cayenne pepper anymore. I couldn't even find it. All I found was like chili powder and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't add that, but I knew that the Creole season that I have is spicy, so I don't feel that I missed anything. But I will definitely make this again to try it again to see if I can kind of perfect it. And I think adding the cream of chicken was a good call because it just gave it a little bit of a creaminess that I like. It's good. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed cooking this with me. It was actually kind of quick and easy, so this might be something that you can do even like on a weekday after work because it really didn't take any time, but it tastes like, it did. So it's a very flavorful dish. And again, if there's anything that you think that I could have done to make this better or anything that you do, please leave me a comment. I would love to hear what you have to say. And if this is your first time, please consider subscribing. And if you're returning, thank you so much. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and just do all the things. So I'll see you next time when we cook or travel or whatever I'm doing. I'll see you next time.
More and more.
This video and content is a production